Hi, my name's Rob Wood and today I'm fishing Lake Monduran. I'm a regular charter guide up here and this dam's a pretty tough fish. It's known as Lake Misery, and today I'm going to try and take out a bit of the hard stuff of what, for fishing this dam. I've got a good boat, electric motor and a good sounder, and these are the three key elements to finding and catching fish. This time of year, we're in October 2014. We've just had, in the last 2 years, we've had two major floods where we've lost a lot of fish over the dam. But the fish are getting back to about 80s, 70s, 80s and 90 centimetres. Last night I got a 91 centimetre. But today I'm just going to show you a few finer points on how to catch a fish. Not here to make a TV episode. This is just to give people who visit the dam a bit of an idea on what to do and how to go. And if you want some more tips, you can always come out and charter with me. Talk soon. So this is my boat. It's a Skeeter 19 foot, it's a pretty stable platform, nice fast boat getting around the dam. And you can see here I have the Humminbird 1198 series side scan sounder, an invaluable tool in finding barra and locating barra in bays. And with barra, I find most of them in, from about 20 foot down to 5 foot. So this is a great tool. Also, there's some other great ones on the market, the Lawrence, the Simrad, there's new Garmin out, so whatever your choice. But I find the Hummingbird's user friendly and you can do a lot with it. On the front I have a Minn Kota iPilot, and it's got a remote that I use. I don't use the foot switch, I'm not very good with that. On the front of, you can see I've got 3 rods set up with hard bodies, and on the side here I've got 3 spin rods set up with plastics. They're rigged up with weedless Z-Man plastics, the small sinker on the front and a chin lock hook. The hard bodies that I've chose to use today are a Jackal 70, I think they're 78mm or something. They got owner hooks, they work quite well in the dam, and they generally suspend, but sometimes will slowly float or slowly sink, so it's a bit of an anomaly of what you get, but you deal with what you got. The bait at the moment is, generally from about 50 to 100 mil, so these lures are great for this sort of application. So we're in the main basin at the moment, and this is all the deep water. You can see there we're in about 74 feet. The water temperature is about 24.9 in the main basin. It is October. We're getting water temperatures up to 30 degrees at the moment. It's been really warm, so it's generally good for fish. Fish numbers are low, so we're trying to look around, hunt fish. You can see in the background there's the dam wall. We're on the that's the Fred Haig Dam, and welcome to Lake Monduran. Let's go fishing. Righto, I just thought I'd start here. This is to give you a bit of an idea of the topography. We're actually in we're going down a creek in Bird Bay, which is starts off with a lot of trees, and generally I'm finding the barra swimming down through the main creek, and they're fishing up on the points and the backs of the bays for bait, and they're generally move down this with the wind. You can see the wind's coming, well, it's coming east southeast today, so it's pushing down into this bay quite readily, and the fish will be moving along this creek and then up onto the flats. You'll also find them in the trees if you want to use deep diving hard bodies and fish the trees, or you can fish the points. Yes, 2 days ago I was out here, and there's been a lot of boats up here, and this dam suffers with a bit of boat pressure, and everybody's basically using the same lure. They're all using these Jackal hard bodies and those smaller hard bodies. They're catching fish, but the fish are getting a bit sick of them. So the other day I tried the Z-Man weedless rigged, and I've been stinging them on them at the moment. So you got to experiment around a bit just to see what you can find that'll work for you. What works one day won't work the next, so just keep your options open in that regard. You can see here there's a nice point there, a few spindly trees. and you know, this is what we generally regard as a great barra fishing location. The three key points that I like to see on a point are weed, wind and good water. So if you can find a wind-blown point or bay or somewhere where the wind's blowing into and there's weed there, you know, you get this nice oxygen weed that looks like broccoli under the water. It generally is ideal for catching fish. So we're just going to move down a bit further along this creek edge. You can see there's all these spindly trees on the edge. A lot of the fish like to lay up in them during the day. At the moment we're in about 32 feet of water in the channel, and I'll just take you down a bit further. You can see here that there's like a channel opening up between these trees ahead of us, and that sort of denotes the main creek body coming down into here. So we're just starting at the start of this entrance now. It's about 35 feet. Water temperatures come up from the main basin from about 24 to 26. And you'll see we'll just shoot over to our first point. We'll just cruise into here. Don't want to go too fast, don't want to make too much noise. Want to keep pretty stealthy and see what you can do. So you can see there's a few boats down fishing down there. A couple of guys from the caravan park. I'm currently staying at the Lake Monduran Holiday Park, which is a great venue to stay, so you can get out on the water early in the morning and late in the afternoon. Best bites at the moment have been late afternoon. Righto, this is our first point, and you can see that I'm still in deep water. I'm in 43 feet at the moment. The water temperature is coming up to 26.2 degrees, and the water will shallow out as I hit this point. And what I'm going to show you, these trees just in front of us, you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of big trees. Now that denotes the edge where the creek falls down into, and you'll see as I come over on the sounder, I'm going to drive down the side of these trees and then I'll drive up in front of the point, and that'll show you how the creek edge comes up. So I'll have the camera on the sounder. I'm just going to take the side scan out to about 60 feet. We'll go 57, and you can see now that we're in 38 feet of water, and now we're coming up to the shallower side up onto the flats. And this is generally what the barra do as they hunt. I'm presuming this. I'm no expert in this. I catch fish. That's what I'm here. I'm not here to you know, tell you what barra do, but this is what I generally find. And moved up onto the edge here, and we're now in 8 feet of water. We've got 26.2 degrees, and there's a fish there right on the right. So that's a barramundi right on the right hand side there. You can see him just in there. So generally that's a great location to fish. How good's that? Another one coming up there. Looks like there's one laying there on the stick. You can see that we're only 30 feet from the edge, and once again there's another barramundi on the left. So generally these places have been fishing really well, and you know, if you put the time and the effort in here, you'll catch a fish. There's heaps of fish here this morning. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all laying up in the trees. Now this is what I say about the hummingbird. I'd rather go fishing without my rods rather than going, you know, without my side scan. And I'm not doing an ad for hummingbird. I'm saying this about all side scans, but the hummingbird is my personal favourite. Now I'm going to move down here. You can see the backs of the bays. There's a lot of fish that'll lay up on these edges, and you can see there's another point developing in the back of the bay here. And once again, I'd imagine there'd be fish here. And if you look up in the back of this bay, it's got lilies, weed. The wind's still pushing into this area, and it's a generally a good place to fish. So we'll just put the side scan on as we go into this bay, and just see what we can find on this point for starters, and then we'll move into the bay. Now I'm doing this in real time. I'm not doing any editing or anything on this, so you'll have to bear with me, because I want to show you what it's really about. I'm not making a fancy TV show. I'm just doing a YouTube clip that'll show you how to fish for these fellas. Now we've moved up onto this point, and I'm not really seeing much there at all, so we'll just keep trucking in, and we'll see what we see as we come into this bay. There's plenty of good spindlies. There's a fish there on the right. You can see they're laying up in these spindly little trees, and this is generally what we're looking for. Another fish there on the right, and we're just going to move down into this bay. We're going to swap around and use a bit of stealth now as we move into this bay, because we don't want to make too much noise. This will spook the fish, and you don't want to do too much of that. So this is the bay we're moving into at the moment. So I'm just going to get my iPilot controller. You'll have to bear with me moving around a bit. I'm just going to pop down my iPilot. This is the controller that I've got for it. Just hit the OK and turn her on. I usually sit this over my shoulder. It's a bit of a chore to get used to. A lot of people prefer the foot switch, but for me, it's this is my preferred choice. So I'm going to turn off my Yami motor at the moment, and I'm going to put down my mink coder. And this is the bay that we're going to move into, and there's generally some good fish up in these spindlies here. Water's about 8 to 10 feet deep, and up on the edge it's probably 3 to 5 feet. There's a nice little sandbar in the background there that the fish seem to hunt around. So just bear with me a tick. I'm just going to put the camera down on the edge. Hopefully it won't fall in the water. Put the mink coder down, and we'll slowly move in here. Now at the same time, I've got a great little option with my mink coder. Not with my mink coder, with my Hummingbird, I'll just turn it around 180 degrees so I can see what's on the sounder as I come in. And because this is shallow water, I'm going to drop this back to about, I might go back to about 40 feet out the side. And I use feet rather than meters because I think I don't know if it's true, but I think I get more definition. So we're just going to sneak in on 3 on the mink coder. We'll sneak into here. I should get a rod ready too, shouldn't I? We can see what's coming up on here. I think I'll use a hard body to start off with. And this is my lure of choice here. So I might have a quick fish in here as we go into here. This is the jackal. Just using the short leader. Nice little Loomis crankbait. And a Corrado reel. Great little reel. Cheap enough and does the job. I use Loomis sticks. I just find them a great stick to use. And if you break them, you can expedite and get a new rod for a small fee, which is better than probably breaking a rod and having to go and buy a new one. But they're dearer. They work really well, and I'm using like a bass style stick today. It's a bit lighter, and it helps you hook up a bit better. So I'm just going to turn off the camera for a minute, just while I set up. I'm going to hopefully put the GoPro in the housing up the front. Oh, you can see there's a nice barra just coming up on the right there with the tree and all that sort of stuff. So I'll put this on the housing. I'll just hit pause, and I'll be back to you in a sec. Well, here we are again. We're on another point. Scanned a few fish here, caught a few fish here in the last couple of days. It's been a bit of an evening bite here at the moment, but we're about, what's the time now? About 11:30 in the midday. And once again, fish moving up off an edge on the side, feeding right up in the shallows, and just lazing about on a few trees generally this time of day. We might get a bite, might not. We're going to throw a few plastics again. I'm going to chuck plastics and a couple of hard bodies. The hard bodies, like I've said before, have been flogged here, so generally been catching the fish on the plastic, so I'll probably try the plastics first. I'll set my plonker down, the whole position. Water temperature's up 27 degrees. We're in 10 foot of water. We're casting into a little flat area of about 8. Moves up in the shallows 3 foot and then to the edge. There's a lay down in the background here. A bit of weed. Once again, we got the wind, the water flow. Everything's just right. All we've got to do is pin a barrow on a hook and call it a catch. Just put our plonker down and away we'll go. So like I said, I'm going to start off with the plastic. Boat should swing around, you should be able to see where I'm casting to. I'll start off with the black silver. I'm going to be casting to a lay down in there that I know the fish are about. If you're watching this video and you're up here at this time, I'm sure you can find this most valuable, this video, because you'll see actually where they're biting at the moment. So give you a good general indication of where to go straight up. But things do change day to day, week to week. So these spots might be holding fish in another couple of days or another week. Spoke to fisheries that have electric tagged fish in Paradise Dam, and these fish will move up to 90 kilometres a day, which is a fair way. So you can't generally count on them being in the same place every day. See, I'm working the treat edge. There's a treat edge that drops off to about 16 foot on the other side, which is the creek line that comes down. And my theory is the barra move down the creek edge, up into these flats to chase the newly spawned bait that's come up on the edge. There's most of the bait's about 100 mil. There's a small freshwater garfish just swimming past at the moment. Not always a good sign when you're seeing bait swimming around and you're fishing, because generally I think you're going to take a bait rather than take a lure. But who knows, you know, they can be like a cat chasing a ball of string some days. You just got to run it past their nose, and they can't resist, especially if they're there in numbers. You know, the one will race out, and then they'll start competing for it. So we're catching a variety of sizes in this spot at the moment, anywhere from about 75. I think 91 was the biggest one I caught yesterday. The day before that, 87 and 83. You never know what you're going to catch, and you never know when that meter is just around the corner. You know, we lost a lot of fish in the floods in 2012. We had floods here 2 years in a row. Lost a lot of fish over the dam wall. The water level was about 14–15% before the dam went over. So the water level come up over 100% when it was going over, but since it's come back, we're down to about 85%, but there's still a lot of water. As soon as the bait, or as soon as the water expanse, you know, multiplied by tenfold, the bait did too. So the bait has got really strong in here. You can see on the side scans at times you'll see like big pelagic style barra up in the deep water chasing bait schools up on the surface. But with this warmer weather, they're pushing the bait towards the edge more, and this is more like the old style of fishing fishing plastics on points and bays where barra are hunting, you know. I generally feel that there's some good big sized barra here too, and I hopefully will see them over this 2014 summer. So I've killed a couple of hundred of them this week. So there I've had about, that was a snag, bite. It doesn't look like a bite, there's no boil on the water. I've had a good couple of casts with the hard body. Go back to the plastic for a while. Got another style of plastic that I've been trying. I don't know what it's called. I've rigged it the same. It's got like a, swims like a garfish, really nice. Very flexible lure with a big swinging paddle tail. Rigged it up the same with a Texas rig. That's it there. It's very corrugated and very flexible. It makes a lot of noise in the water. And gave it a cast last night the first time. Very impressed with the way it swam. Put a bit of orange dye on the tail just to put a bit of contrast in it. But you know, it could be a good lure if the barra like it. But it's not up to me. Lures can catch people, but not many catch fish. So not here to impress me. We're here to impress the fish. You know, and sometimes barra fishing can be a bit boring. I just tend to switch off. I'm great because I've got you to talk to today. Usually when I'm fishing on my own I get a bit bored. But I'm talking to the camera. That's keeping me thinking, keeping positive about where I'm casting, keeping my cast rate up. You know, just pushing it out there all the time. Changing the styles, doing a hopping motion, just a slow retrieve. Hopping fast burn, you can do like just flat out fast burn. I'm finding the fast burns really aren't working at the moment. The fish are a bit subtle in their, or tentative in their bites. So we're seeing a few come through on the side scan every now and then, so that's encouraging. So we'll just keep up the casting and see how we go. Surface is because they're getting pushed up there by larger critters. Oh, that's something I should touch on too, like the different species in the dam. We've got a beautiful looking field-tail catfish in here. They've been quite abundant this year. I haven't seen them for ages, and they're beautiful colours. We've got the fork-tail catfish, catamundi, or fork-tail barramundi, I often call them. They're in abundance when they're biting. The barra are generally biting, but there's so many of them in here. There's large schools of them. In a general day, you might catch 10 or 20 of them just hunting out the barra, you know. You get the bass in here. The bass are a bit tentative to bite because I think the barramundi push them around a bit. You can do quite well with the bass. Working your small bites and that around the big trees, and if you want to fish baits around the trees and that. A lot of people catch live nippers. You also see big eels in here at times too. Trying for some critters there. I'll probably put in about 30 casts here so far. And I generally find that's never enough to catch a barra, you know. Like sometimes you pull up a spot, bang one straight away. It's usually an indication it's going to be a bad day, I've always found. If you work from, you know, if I sat here all afternoon, I'd be hoping to get, say, 2 or 3. Because the bite's been good enough to sustain that at the moment. You never know. Like I said, every day's different. one more cast with this, and then I'll go back to the Z-Man. Pop that out again there, just mixing it up a bit, you know, just finding out what they're going to chew on today. Z-Man has been the preferred bait of choice for me in the last 2 charters, so I'm hoping to do it again on the Z-Man today. I don't mind catching them on something else. Not everybody's using the same stuff as I am. Although I did tell a few guys in the park yesterday that that's what I was catching them on. I'm not afraid to encourage other guys to do the same, because you know, get everybody catching fish, we get more people to the dam, I get more charters, more money in the community, and happy people. More money for the sips too. Encourage a bit more stocking. The accommodation up here, you can stay in Gingin. Gingin is just a small country town. Got all everything you need, like shopping centres, banks, and all that sort of stuff. A couple of pubs, nice meals, motels, caravan parks. Caravan at the show, there's a free caravan place in town. I recommend if you're coming out to the dam here, you can either get a powered side or a non-powered side in Lake Monduran Caravan Park. Rob Howe is the manager of the park. He also can offer you some cabins or a house. You can get a group in a house. You can possibly talk to him about the houseboat. Houseboat's about $400 a night, I think, something like that. And you can have generally 6 to 8 people on it, so I think that's pretty affordable. Great way to be on the water all the time. Have your boat tied up to the side. And the only thing is you're exhausted by the time you get home because you can't stop fishing. And you can get back to the boat, have a few drinks, have a barbie overnight, get out, fish the night, fish the mornings. You're right on the water, you're not putting the boat in and out of the water all the time. He's also got the hire boat. He's got little hire boats and kayaks and that sort of stuff. And he also has his guiding, so good guide too, Rob. We work together a lot, we fish together a lot, so have a good working relationship. It's great. Couldn't ask for a better friend and a better guide to being in competition. Suppose you're probably looking at the best times of year to come up here. I reckon it's from about September right through to about April, May. They'll shut down a bit in the colder months. Electricity shuts down, you can still catch fish if you work hard for them, but April's probably one of the best times. November's generally pretty good, November, December. You stay out of the school holiday zones, you won't have as much boat traffic on the dam, therefore you won't get as many people on the dam and noise on the dam, which will, you know, once again tend to make the fish a bit tougher to catch with all that boat noise around. If you want to check us out, we're at we're on Facebook on Lake Monduran Barra Fishing Charters Australia. Also there is Rob Wood. You'll also find us at bundabergfishing.com. So that's try that again. bundabergfishing.com.au, and we're on a fish. Oh, I hope I got the video on this. Oh yeah, that's great. So here we go, brother. That's a good bite, that one. He just sucked that down. I don't know if you can see that. I hope that camera's still working. Oh man. And this is what it's all about, catching fish. So by myself, this is going to be a little bit tough. I don't know if you can see where I am. I've got the rod bent here. Oh, he's just jumped off. Oh, I'm lucky I picked up the camera then, eh? How good's that? And that's what we come here to do.